Can I please request our dignitaries on stage to kindly do the last.
Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India.
Let's begin this beautiful two-day summit by the welcome address by Mr.
Shrimati Nirmala Sitaraman ji, Honorable Finance Minister, Shri Bhagwant Khubha ji, Honorable Minister of State Chemicals and Fertilizers, Shri Pratap Keshri Dev, Honorable Industries Minister, Government of Odisha, Shri Arun Baruka, Secretary Chemicals and Petrochemicals, dignitaries on and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this third edition of the Global Chemicals and Petrochemicals Manufacturing Hubs in India seminar, which will go on over 2 days, as you just heard. It's a very important sector that we are here talking about today. As you know, the Indian chemical sector is highly diversified with over 80,000 commercial products, and it provides the key building blocks and raw materials for several industries such as bulk chemicals, specialty chemicals, agrochemicals, petrochemicals, polymers and fertilizers. And it has seen robust growth over the last decade, I believe growing at between 1.2 to 1.5 times that of GDP. And this is something which has been driven both by consumption growth as well as the enabling policies of the government. If I were to talk about the current status of the sector, we are the 6th largest chemicals producer in the world and the 4th largest in Asia. Exports of chemicals and allied products currently account for about 12% of India's exports in FY22 and have been growing at a compounded rate of 14% over the last several years. It creates large employment opportunities and has a significant role to play in India's journey to becoming a $5 trillion economy and in fact beyond. It's currently valued at $220 billion according to a report from McKinsey, and is expected to grow at a CAGR of 11 to 12% over the next few years and 7 to 10% thereafter till 2040, reaching a value of $300 billion by 2025 and a staggering $1 trillion by 2040, accounting for 10 to 12% of the global chemicals market. So indeed, it's a large market, growing very noticeably, and it is something that will position India as a strong player in the times to come. We are already there, and the journey is only going to accelerate, in my opinion.
Good morning, friends. Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman ji, Honorable Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Shri Pratap Keshri Dev, Honorable Minister of Industries, MSME and Energy of Government of Odisha, Shri Khubha ji, our Honorable Minister of State for Chemicals and Fertilizers, Shri Subrakant Panda ji, Arun Baruka ji and friends. Ma'am, the chemical industry in the world is close to about 8 to 10, about $1 trillion. China itself is about, I'm sorry, 8 to 9 trillion dollars. China itself is about $3 trillion. India is about $300 billion. As we speak now, actually the world is going through major challenges, with Europe going into recession, challenges relating to oil prices because of the Russian and the Ukraine wars, and China itself going through almost a deflation because there is huge overcapacity that have been built up. while the demands have been crashing. In this background, India appears to be one of the best locations today with an Indian demand of about $180 billion and ever growing. We do believe that India would be crossing $300 billion in the next 4 years to come. And the rate at which improved quality of life is happening thanks to the efforts by the current government. We believe that in the next 10 years, India itself has the potential to grow to $1 trillion. On various ideas, including chemical clusters that could be helping to bring in an ecosystem to make chemicals competitive and safe in India. Ma'am, it was during Vajpayee's time that this whole idea about PCPIR was conceived, where the whole concept was, can we create islands of excellence, that at this one place, everything that is required for the chemical industry, be it building blocks, be it ports, be it railways, are meeting at one point, and therefore they would be able to give in a great competitive advantage. In fact, the Chemical Association used to plead that we don't want subsidies and backward area benefits. Give us this ecosystem and we will be sustainable forever. PCPIR did start well, but they have yet not achieved what was intended. One of the reasons that has been also identified is that there is something what they call as a viability gap funding. Between the time the infrastructure is set and the industry comes in, there are these few years when there is nobody yet taking the full benefit of the infrastructure. So the state governments and the institutes have been saying that for those few years, how do we get some sort of funding, some sort of assurance, so that the infrastructure, it's like a catch-22 situation. And hence over the last 10-12 years, there has been no such integrated development taking place in any of the PCPIR. Though some efforts have been tried very well by some states. So we request if there is a way of ensuring at least some sort of support from the center for taking care of these 5-7 years when the infrastructure is built up, but the industries have yet not come to its full utilization. And if that can come in by way of viability gap funding. Today, not only India has this fantastic growth opportunity, but countries in Europe are a little bit independent of China. We need a second alternative. And there is no other country except for India who can take this place in the chemical business. In other businesses like textiles, you might find Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam. But during these times, we also need some support in terms of ensuring that as we build in capacities, there are huge capacities in China and some of these countries. And we would like to see that as long as our capacities are coming up, we don't get into a number of cases. These allow imports of products duty free. Of course, until now they were not made in India. But if these products are duty free and not made in India, the impetus to do Atmanirbharta doesn't happen. Because then we cannot be competitive to face imports with duty free options when our raw materials are having normal duties. So here too we need all our ministries, including Ministry of Commerce and Revenue, to work together to find a interim solution to ensure that Atmanirbharta, creating capacities in India, is given some way a priority and a solution, particularly when it comes to these FTAs. These are two major two concerns which I am sure Nirmala ji could give some support, her ministry could give some support. Otherwise, I know that the industry and the government are working together very well in creating an ecosystem where we will be able to attract.
Finance Minister ma'am, Honorable Minister of State Bhagwant Khubhaji, Honorable Minister Pratap Keshri Devji, dignitaries present in the dais, Shri Pandaji, Shri Deepak Mehtaji, and the captains of the industry present in the hall, ladies and gentlemen. In the welcome address and the address by Deepak Mehtaji, the scenario of this industry has been said very clearly. I'll just try to give a little better insight into what exactly is happening in this sector and why we are meeting in this 2-day event which we are having it today and tomorrow. I'll be presenting on harnessing the potential of sustainable manufacturing and circular economy in the Indian chemical industry. This is the scenario with respect to the Indian chemical industry. We have been doing pretty well, even though if let's say we see the GDP growth rate, let's presume it is about 6.8% or so. We have been able to do much better than many of the countries worldwide, where the comparative changes have not been really that better. Our recovery, because of the efforts of the government, has ensured that we are able to recover and we are having a V-shaped recovery, which you can see in the second graph. So this is post-COVID pandemic, and we have emerged as the robust and fastest growing economy. The world has recognized India as a bright star, as the country is recording healthy economic growth despite global uncertainties. Coming to the policy reform support which the government is providing, which is plus the increasing demand, as has been mentioned by the previous speakers, and also the kind of innovation which we are having, India's outlook remains pretty strong and it can be a global manufacturing hub. Government is continuously striving to create an enabling environment for the industry and playing a supportive role. Government is heavily investing in infrastructure projects to bring down the logistic costs and facilitating ease of doing business with the whole of the government approach. Indian CPC industry as such, chemicals and petrochemicals, worldwide it is known as chemicals, ma'am, this for total about 8 to 9 trillion size of the, and we are projected to grow to about 1 trillion by 2040. These are estimations. We are providing an enabling environment, but we need to ensure that we have much better facilities to ensure that it plays that important role. It is at the chemical industry is at the fulcrum of the allied industry and is projected to have an accelerated growth, which is being catalyzed by by various growth enablers such as industry-friendly government policies, availability of skilled and low-cost manpower, low per capita consumption, and rising level of incomes which we are having now. Ma'am, industry landscape is driving the Indian chemical industry towards the next wave of growth and presenting new opportunities. And in the post-COVID pandemic, the world is looking at India as a new manufacturing hub, and government is capitalizing this opportunity by providing suitable ecosystem. Locational advantage of India is also attributing to the growth of chemical and petrochemical sector in the country. Ma'am, these are some of the high growth prospects in different end user sectors. we can see the chemicals and pharmaceuticals, they are very much interrelated. The other sectors are also very much interrelated. All of them are having projected growth, which is on a very positive side. More number of pluses means it's a better prospect. So one can see that due to enhanced demand of chemicals in the other allied sectors such as construction, pharmaceutical, agrochemicals, automobiles, packaging, etc., the chemical and petrochemical sector is bound to have a double-digit growth in this decade, ma'am. India is establishing itself as a global manufacturing hub through earmarking of strategic locations in the form of PCPIRs. It has been a mixed bag. These are the locations as was being mentioned by Mehta ji. So we have had good success in some areas, particularly in the Dahej area. Where still the reactions are mixed. But there is a way out, and we are working in having, even though these areas are pretty big, so we thought we'll have a focused kind of approach, and we can go for chemical parks also, which are smaller in area. Now, coming to the kind of
शुभ्रकांत पंडा जी, श्री दीपक मेहता जी, श्री अरुण बरोका जी, श्री परदास जी. Friends, today I welcome you all on this occasion of putting a paper in front of the industry which are poised to make India Atmanirbhar as per the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, and to take this country to a 5 trillion economy. Petrochemicals and fertilizers play a very, very vital and important role as of today in making us self-sufficient and a world leader. Looking at the geopolitical scenario and geostrategic policy of the world, attention has certainly shifted to India, and the world expects a lot from us, and we in India are poised to take this challenge. And the young and aspiring India is eagerly waiting, and under the able leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister and the various state governments, we are actually ready to take up the challenge. I will not spare time, because you've heard Mr. Baroka ji, you've heard Mr. Panda, you know how Mr. Mehta also with all the data, where we stand and how the chemical stands, and we are growing at 8% domestically, and to sustain that growth over the next 10 years, we require a 40% growth in the capacity. So here comes in the policy of the government to enhance that 40%, and I, representing my state under the leadership of Shri Naveen Patnaik ji, we in Odisha have got a very robust industrial policy called IPR 2022, and in that we have kept petrochemicals and chemicals in the thrust sector. So when I say we keep it in the thrust sector, in a state policy, industrial policy, means we are giving it top priority. And we will take and handhold all those industrial captains who want to come to my state and set up the industry there. We have got certain natural advantages over the others. As of today, the western part of the country is crowded, land rates are very high, there is scarcity of water, and it's getting, the Dahej area, Gujarat and Maharashtra, they are getting saturated, or if not, another 5 years they will come to a saturation point.
Summit on Chemical and Petrochemicals. On the dais, Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman, Odisha Government Minister, Sri Pratap Debji, President FICCI, Subrakant Pandaji, Chairman FICCI, Deepak Mehta ji, Secretary CPDC, Arun Boraka ji, Prabhudas ji, और इस मंत्री जी आने के वजह से सभी इंडस्ट्रीज को भी समस्या और अपॉर्चुनिटीज दोनों का भी समाधान भी मिलेगा, ऐसा एक विश्वास भी हो गया होगा, ऐसा मैं समझता हूँ। पिछला 9 साल में भारत पर कैपिटा इनकम ऑलमोस्ट डबल हुआ है और देश का कंजम्पशन हर प्रोडक्ट का भी उसी के हिसाब से बढ़ा है और सभी सेक्टर में एक अपॉर्चुनिटीज का माहौल और आने वाला 2040 तक $1 ट्रिलियन की अपॉर्चुनिटीज, ये अपने आप में इस इंडस्ट्री का ग्रोथ लगभग 10% से ज़्यादा हो रहा है। तो इस क्षेत्र के अंदर हमें बहुत कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटीज को सीज करना है और भारत सरकार लगातार हर क्षेत्र को बढ़ावा देने के लिए PLI स्कीम करीब 14 सेक्टर के अंदर लेके आया। आज PLI स्कीम सारा दुनिया, देश का महंगाई करीब 4.25% है और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट करीब 5% से नीचे है। ये तीनों आंकड़ा विश्व स्तर पर सबसे बेहतर अगर कोई देश की है तो वो भारत की है और इसका श्रेय माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी को और वित्त सचिव श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमन जी को जाता है। केमिकल पार्क्स प्राइवेट के साथ भारत सरकार और राज्य सरकारों का मदद से होगी और देश के अंदर प्लास्टिक पार्क्स ऑलरेडी प्रोसेस में चालू है। इसके साथ में सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस इंडस्ट्री और एकेडमी को एक साथ में ला करके इंडस्ट्री को भी मदद मिले और एकेडमी में संशोधन वगैरह होने का संभव भी बढ़े और देश के अंदर लेबर सेफ्टी के लिए काफ़ी कदम उठाया गया। लेबर स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए भारत सरकार काफ़ी स्किल डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम चला रहे हैं और सबसे बड़ा आज देश के अंदर एज ग्रुप बिटवीन 18 and 59 अराउंड 92 करोड़ पीपल्स। दुनिया के अंदर कोई देश में भी इतना वर्किंग एज ग्रुप नहीं मिलेगा। ये सबसे बड़ा अवसर अपना भारत के लिए है। तो मैं समझता हूँ आज का भारत का सारे अवसर को आने वाले दिनों में आज सभी ने उसका लाभ उठाएंगे और आज और कल 2 दिन का इस समिट के अंदर अर्थपूर्ण रूप से चर्चा भी होगी और हमारा मंत्रालय को और भारत सरकार के लिए कुछ अच्छे सुझाव भी मिलेगी और निश्चित रूप में नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी का सरकार सुझाव को स्वागत भी करती है, गंभीर रूप से
And now, for the concluding remarks of the inaugural session, can I please request Mr. Prabdas, Chairman, FICCI Petrochemicals Committee and MD and CEO, HPCL Mittal Energy Limited.
I'm grateful to Department of Chemical and Petrochemical and FICCI for organizing this summit where I can see who's who in the industry. It's a great effort. This is an indicator, the presence here of Honorable Minister, Finance Minister and all of you indicate that India is becoming chemical and petrochemical. Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman, Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, your presence, Madam, itself is a big boost to all of us. This sector will certainly be grateful to you and is grateful to you. You have guided us on sustainability, circularity, skill development, and we will certainly take this effort to make sure that your desire is fulfilled. These initiatives will certainly empower Indian companies to offer unique solutions to global challenges. Ma'am, under your dynamic and committed leadership, India has become the 5th largest economy, and we are going to become the 3rd. Let's give a big hand to our economy. We are grateful to our own Honorable Minister of State, Bhagwant Khube. Wherever we have gone, meeting didn't last long because he comes to the point, aapko kya chahiye? That's the approach which we have. We are very grateful to you, sir, for all the support all these years. We have with us Minister from Odisha, the most dynamic state, and his team has been doing wonderful job, sir. And we have been to Odisha and we got all the support. So great. Thank you very much for the initiative which you have taken. Our own Mr. Arun Bharoka ji, from day one he has been supporting us, Deepak Mehta ji, and our President, Mr. Panda. I've got just 2 points. One, how to become global chemical and petrochemical hub. As I told you, I have no doubt, the initiative which we have all taken and the support which we have been getting from government, we are there. Ma'am, people talk about ease of doing business. I will give you one simple example. We in HMEL, HPCL Mittal Energy, we have set up a 3 billion, 26,000 crore project, petrochemical project, just commissioned. During the COVID time and after that, we have made this within record time and cost. And this is all because of the support which we got from government and everybody in this. So there's a live example, ease of doing business. Tell somebody to come to me for any live example. There are issues we have been talking, how to accelerate this development. There are issues we have been talking to ministry and department. They are being looked into very seriously. They have been looked into very seriously, and we are thankful for all the support. So no doubt we will be a manufacturing hub tomorrow. The second issue is of sustainability, as you rightly mentioned, and circularity. Somehow, this polymers, the plastic is considered bad. Although we all know that it is used for daily life and all the specifications, but certainly because of the disposal, not of the product, disposal of the product, this has become a bad name. We are working together with local bodies to make sure that this is being recycled. India, we are very proud that we recycle 60%, USA only 7%. We recycle the polymer 60% and we will do more. We will make sure that there is a sustainability and circularity. The industry is working with the government to make sure this happens, and I can assure you our efforts will certainly be result on this. We will work together, achieving a harmonious balance between economic prosperity and environmental stability.
And with this, we conclude our inaugural session.
Thank you.